once again, it's time for
The Horror Guys.
Yay!
I'm Kevin.
I'm Brian.
And we're going to talk about 5 movies we saw this week.
We've got worms.
Yeah, and other things, but especially worms. So many
Lots of worms.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do we have?
Well, speaking of worms, it's 2025's Wormtown.
Ooh.
And also 2025, we got 4 out of 5 are 2025s. We got Keeper and Influencers, plural, and Five Nights at Freddy, Part 2.
So many sequels.
Freddy's, plural. Five Nights at Freddy's, Part 2. And a classic from 1959, Experiment in Evil.
All right.
Did you see what I did there? I called it a classic.
Well, it's old.
It's old. Yeah, I guess.
I think some people would call that one a classic.
Yeah, I think so. And it was kind of good. I liked it.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
Okay, you didn't like it as much as I did.
I wonder if we'll agree on our favorite of the week. I bet we do. But we'll see. Anyway, brought to you as always by Horror Monthly Magazine, where you can get episode 52 coming on sale probably Tuesday or Wednesday this week. I'm running a little late because of the holiday.
Okay.
But it'll have all our reviews from last month and maybe a little preview of what's coming up next.
Mm-hmm. And pretty soon we'll be watching 2026 horror movies.
That might be next week's show. Who knows? One of these days, as soon as I get my list together, You've already got your list together. You are on the ball.
No, I mean movies that come out in 2026.
Oh,
new ones.
Maybe a couple weeks before we start seeing those.
See, now we're gonna have to start calling 2025 movies old ones.
Oldies.
Yeah,
the oldies.
The oldies.
Last month.
From last year.
Well, let's start off with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, directed by Tammi, written by Scott Cawthon, stars same people as the previous movie, Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, and Elizabeth Lail. Must not have had too much of a body count in that one. Hour and 44 minutes, trailer in the show notes.
There's some extras to have as body count.
Oh, there
body
always
people.
is.
Yeah, we got some red shirts in there. Spoiler free, this takes place a year after the first movie. And the survivors are back, along with some fresh faces. And there's another Freddy's location with intact animatronics. Plus, there's a creepy new puppet. Another character. And as you might guess, the problem wasn't completely solved after the first movie. So, there's another bout of death and destruction. We kind of liked the first one, and thought this was equally entertaining. The ending is a bit abrupt and pretty obvious that Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is coming.
They made it very clear that they have plans.
Yeah. But I was entertained. I enjoyed it.
Willy's Wonderland better than the first one, but it was all right.
Okay.
I'm not coming from the video game. I never played the video game, didn't know much about it. But
Yeah, same here.
I'm just going on the movies.
Yeah.
1 year later. Are we sure that's right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was more time than that.
No, it said so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we open on an arcade and a fun place with lots of kids playing. One little girl just sits and waits for the animatronic show. The sad girl, Charlotte, watches as a little boy goes into the back room with a big rabbit. She goes in after him, but gets stabbed in the process. Credits roll. Girl dies in Fazbear accident, says the headlines. We also see a marionette, a character who was not in the first film. Was it?
No.
I don't remember that
No,
one. This one is unique to this other thing. Yeah.
Yes.
20 years later, in the present, little Vanessa has grown up and still remembers all those events. Mike calls. He and Abby have a house now. Mike has an upcoming date with her, but his friend says she has crazy eyes after the incident with the killer bear. Abby, on the other hand, tells her story repeatedly at school, which makes her very popular.
Yeah.
She was involved with a serial killer.
Yeah, it does.
But no one ever found the body of the real killer, William Afton. You know, he's the guy who owned Five Nights at Freddy, or the Freddy's place. Abby's class is learning about robotics at school, and there's going to be a science fair. Mr. Berg, the teacher, doesn't like Abby, which I thought was kind of a plot hole. He just absolutely hates this kid and picks on her and sabotages her, and there's no reason for that we're given, is there?
No, there's not. And
he's just a jerk.
I was expecting, like, he was in on it somehow and covering up. Didn't want her, studying the robots.
Yeah.
These specific robots.
But no.
That he was involved with it somehow. No, he was just a jerk. And that didn't go anywhere.
Everybody has a teacher like that.
Yeah.
Could she fix up the old robots at Freddy's? Maybe she could. Mike has promised to fix them for years, but he never really gets around to it. The dead children possessed the robots there, and they were her friends. Mike and Vanessa go on a date, and she's still messed up from her experience before. When he gets home, he finds a note from Abby saying she's gone to Freddy's to fix up her friends.
What could go wrong?
Well, nothing. Turns out the animatronic animals are all gone now, been demolished or taken as evidence or something. She does find a little machine called a Faz Talker, some kind of talking toy, and keeps it. You know, as trash as that place was, I can't believe that there'd be a working electronic toy there. But okay, that's the part I don't believe.
That's the only part you don't believe. Okay.
Elsewhere, a trio of ghost chasers arrives at Freddy's. Mike has invited the spectral scoopers to investigate.
And this is the other Freddy's location.
We don't know that yet, but yes.
We don't know that yet, but yeah.
It turns out it's the other Mike also. This guy is Michael, not the Mike we already know, and he lets him inside.
Uh-huh.
This isn't the same location as the one Mike and Abby were just in. This one's much cleaner. It's the original location, and it's mostly still intact.
It's bigger, and they even had a water ride in that one where you could ride through the adventure. And
they also have a unique character, the Marionette, who is unique to this location as well. This one still has the animatronics inside. Lisa, Rob, and Alex, the ghost hunters, explore the place, recording everything for their show. And they all die painfully as Michael smiles evilly. Except Lisa is now possessed by Charlotte. Oh my, things are going to go badly, aren't they?
They do. Yeah, things do go bad.
Well, this is obviously a sequel to 2023's Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a lot going on here that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's got enough humor in it that it's still fun to watch. Seems like the whole thing could have been avoided if the characters from the first film would have gone through some therapy afterwards.
That might have helped.
They mostly caused their own trouble.
Yeah.
The ending was clearly a setup, but it was awfully abrupt and more of a cliffhanger than a real ending.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only going to go to one movie this week, don't go to see this one alone because you're not going to like the ending. But still, if you liked the first one and thought it needed more, this is probably right up your alley.
Maybe wait and binge watch all three of them.
I'm sure that's what they have in mind, yeah, because the ending of this was not very good by itself.
It was not satisfying.
There's more to come.
Left you wanting more.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what they intended.
My dad sat through the 3.5-hour version of Fellowship of the Ring. Got to the end and he's like, that's it?
That was only part one.
He had no idea there was more coming.
Oops.
2025's Influencers is up next. We had no idea there was more of this coming. Written by Curtis David Harder, stars Cassandra Nod, Emily Tennant, Jonathan Whitesell, hour and 50 minutes. Trailer in the show notes.
Now, previously we watched Influencer, single.
From 2022.
From 2022, starring the same...
Cassandra Nod.
Yeah, and the other cast member girl that's with her too.
Yeah,
is repeated. Yep. Whose name I have? Okay,
that
Emily Tennant.
Yeah,
Emily Tennant. Thank you. Yeah, blanking out on her name. There's one very fundamental issue I have with this that I struggled to get past. This is very good.
I don't see where that's such a bit. Well, they kind of struggled to get past it, too. They're very vague about it.
And so they just say, oh, well, we won't talk about it. See, at the end of Influencer, I'm going to spoil it.
Go ahead.
Because you've seen it by now. Or
you should
have by now. Yeah, 2022. It's an influencer who takes other people's identities and is a thief and a bad person. But at the end of it, she is stranded on a deserted island, on a tropical island.
Uh-huh.
And here she is back.
Well, people can get rescued from islands. It's not the end of the world. It's not like she was eaten or anything.
Not that one. Not the way it was set up. Yeah, this was the island where she took people to never be rescued or found or anything. And yeah.
But anyway, a couple of people ask her during this one, how'd you get off that island? And there's always some...
And they always just gloss over it.
Yeah. They don't know either.
Yeah.
A woman.
It was a little unclear at first if it was a prequel or a sequel because of that ending.
Uh-huh.
I thought.
You assumed she died at the end of the first movie.
Well, and the way they set up the beginning of the movie, you really don't know at first.
Yeah.
It could be a prequel.
We find out,
though. That aside, it was well put together, and it's got beautiful settings, and we did mostly enjoy it.
The scenery is all really cool in this. I mean, it's clearly, those influencers go to the nicest places.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a woman gets 1 million notifications on her socials and cries. She then grabs a knife and cuts her own throat. Oh, my.
And then we find out why.
We cut to Southern France. I think that's probably supposed to be France.
France.
In Paris, France.
In Paris,
France.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, where Catherine, also known as CW, is riding her bike. She goes home to Diane, and they go out for a date. They have plans for the weekend, and they go to... No, they stop off at an abandoned castle to do some sightseeing. Looks very much like CW's about to kill Diane. But no, nothing happens there, so they continue on to the castle that they have reserved. When they arrive, someone else has rented their room out from under them, so they get this tiny little closet of a room instead.
And this is like a Downton Abbey
It's a big
size
place, yes.
house that they converted into a hotel. So it's huge and old and beautiful, except their little room is not. Yeah.
Catherine meets Charlotte, another guest, who complains about the size of the pool. Turns out she's the one who got their special room because she's a celebrity, and offers to buy their dinner. Turns out she is an influencer. Catherine is clearly jealous, but Diane thinks she's nice. They talk about how quickly Charlotte would shrivel up and die without her phone. The next day, Catherine tells Charlotte that Diane is ill and offers to be her photographer for the day. She knows just the place to get some great photos. It's that old castle.
That old castle that doesn't have guardrails around that tower that's on the top floor.
You think France has a whole lot of castles right next to the road without any safety rails or anything?
Yeah.
Sure enough, they go up to the dangerous-looking tower that Catherine visited earlier. One short push later, Charlotte is no more. Catherine has Charlotte's phone and password, so she can use that. They soon end up in the room that they reserved after Charlotte runs off.
And there was one point that I noticed, too. It's a gorgeous location, and it's a beautiful old ruins of a castle, a real castle, real location. It's not a big town, but still, there's nobody around.
No.
Both times they visit.
No guardrails, no signs, no admission booth. It's just a castle by the road, empty and mostly clean.
That could be, feasible, but I just couldn't believe that there wasn't anybody else around.
It's France. Those people don't care.
But there's tourists, and it's beautiful weather, and yeah.
Well, Diane goes through all Catherine's stuff and finds her passport. Her name isn't really Catherine, and she has access to Charlotte's account. You've done this before. What were you doing in Thailand? Several girls were killed there.
And that's when we realize it's not a prequel, it's a sequel.
Catherine then tries to convince Diane that she knows nothing about it. One thing leads to another, and soon Diane is dead. And then, 30 minutes in.
Credits roll.
Yeah. We're just getting started. Okay, well, this is a sequel, obviously, to 2022's Influencer. And before, the settings are amazing. I like the first one pretty good. I like this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's got enough twists and turns, and most of the people who die kind of have it coming, so I'd call it a win.
She reminded me a little bit of a counterpart to Mr. Ripley,
I've never seen that one.
Okay, well,
I should someday.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of books, and it's a series of, and there's different versions of his movies, and I don't know how many there are. There's The Talented Mr. Ripley was the most famous one, I think, but there's a whole bunch of them.
I didn't know there was more than one even.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was a book. Now that you brought it up,
books. Yeah, he's a recurring character but the way he connives to advance himself, and then keeps having to do damage control and kill off people. As necessary, and it reminded me of that a little bit.
What was that movie from last year? Salt Manor or something? What was that called?
Saltburn.
Saltburn,
yeah,
yes.
A little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Keeper, 2025, directed by Osgood Perkins. Written by Nick Leopard, stars Tatiana Maslany, Rossif Sutherland, and Burkett Turton. Hour 39 minutes. Now, I'm going to say this is my favorite of the week.
That's what I'm going with, too.
I like the next one a lot, too, but this is my favorite.
That's my favorite of the week, for sure.
Spoiler-free, a couple in love goes to his remote and beautiful cabin for a romantic getaway. What could happen? Things seem normal enough.
In normal life, things wouldn't happen, but this is a horror movie.
It gets strange. And then even stranger. And then it gets very strange. Takes a while to get there, But the payoff was very good, and we were both very pleased.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, okay, well, what happens?
Well, we see various scenes of women and then cut to scenes of some of them screaming, and credits roll.
Something bad happened to them.
Yeah, don't know what or
Didn't
where.
take 30 minutes to get to the credits on this one.
Liz and Malcolm drive to his cabin way out in the woods. It's a nice place. The caretaker left them a cake, so he starts making dinner. And as she takes a bath, we see odd things happening behind her. Well, someone's ringing the doorbell, but it's late. They're having dinner. Malcolm says it's his cousin Darren and his date, Minka, who doesn't speak English. Minka nods at the cake and warns Liz about it. The unwanted guests do soon leave. Liz is suddenly very suspicious of Malcolm, but he still seems genuinely nice. They start to make out, but in the middle he decides he wants some cake. She doesn't like chocolate, but he wants her to try it anyway.
Try the cake.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And she does, and seems to enjoy it. Well, that night, Liz has strange dreams, and she goes downstairs and examines the rest of the cake, which she starts shoving into her mouth like an animal.
It's good cake.
Yeah, and as she eats it, we hear the screams of many women in the background. Well, we cut to Minka, who is lost in the woods for some reason. She sees another woman, and she is attacked strangely.
That's a very strange attack.
Yeah. Well, in the morning, Liz draws the faces of the screaming women. She's an artist. Later, she and Malcolm go for a walk in the woods, and she finds a locket on a rock in the stream and takes it. Malcolm gets a call from work. He's a doctor, has to go deal with it. She's acting kind of weird, but he doesn't seem to notice. She's only experiencing the weird stuff, and he just seems genuinely oblivious to everything and happy, and seems like a genuinely good guy. Well, she keeps getting visions of bubbles and water. And he does leaves her alone. And there is one neighboring house that's a visible ways away.
Probably the cousin's place, I think.
Yeah. Alone now, she watches out the window at the neighbor's yard and sees a head in the garbage there. Oh, no, that was just her imagination. Maybe. Well, then she sees Minka and also a mini Minka, and then wakes up from a nap after drinking.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, we got one of those things. She's in this creepy house with a creepy man, and maybe she's hallucinating. Maybe she's not. Mm-hmm. We've seen this movie 100 times, but then it starts taking twists.
Yeah, Daryl comes over.
Yeah, I think we could probably stop there.
The cousin comes back.
Yeah.
Is it Daryl or Darren?
I think it's Darren with an N.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out feeling like an abduction, gaslighting, kidnapping story, and it was. But there's a lot more to it than that. It goes way off the rails. The creature in this one really stand out. Those things are weird.
Yeah, weird and creepy.
The whole thing goes way off the rails in the final half hour, and of course that's the best part. It started out kind of slow, it started out kind of boring, but it was surprisingly good by the end.
Yeah.
Again, this is our pick for the week.
Definitely, yeah.
Another one that was good, Wormtown. Lots of worms. Directed by Sergio Pinheiro. Written by Andrew James Myers. Stars Caitlin McWethy, Rachel Ryu, Emily Sopp. Hour and 41 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. I have not heard anything about this one from anybody.
Me neither.
It just sort of came up in the feed.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's an interesting take on a parasitic takeover. Not seeing the initial invasion, but instead the day-to-day life of a fully infested population in a small town, with a trio of holdouts fighting the system. The body horror is dialed up to 11, and it's really gross.
So many worms.
We both thought it was a little rushed toward the end, but overall, a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for Keeper, this would have been my favorite of the week.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well, what happens?
Well, we open up on a man at the optometrist's office. He's been having headaches, and his eyes hurt. But he also says that he can see in the dark now. Well, he's the mayor of the town, and the eye doctor looks into his eye and sees worms.
Yay, worms!
And then some time apparently passes. We cut to the town, and it looks like it's populated by people with skin conditions.
Are they zombies? We don't know yet.
Not yet. The mayor and the others are infected by the worms that run the town now. The radio station and the churches they're all working for the greater good. It's very cult-like.
No, it's very cult-like.
Yeah. And we see a couple of women shaving each other's heads. They're kind of holed up in a warehouse space. And credits roll.
Was there a purpose mentioned for the shaving their heads?
I think just toughen up and, we're sisters working on this together and, this is our uniform.
So we
kind
could
of
tell
thing.
them apart from the cultists?
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we then see some kids playing outside as the sun comes up. And the bright sunlight has a devastating effect on little Tammi, who stayed out too long. He melts into a pile of blood and worms.
Oh, my.
So apparently the worms can't stand direct sunlight.
And neither can the body that the worms are in.
Yeah, it causes bad things. Well, Jess, one of the bald women, goes to check on her friend Greg, who has drunk the wormy milk. She scourges the area for food and junk outside during the daylight hours till she finds what's left of Tammi. And she starts poking around inside and looks at the worms inside. Not all of them are dead yet. Rose analyzes the samples back at the bald woman base to study, but Kara, another of the women, doesn't care. Jess runs in, covered in Tommy's blood. She's afraid she's been infected. But they get her washed off.
Actually,
quick.
she wasn't she? And that's where they pull one out?
No, not
to come later?
Oh,
okay.
Well, at this point, no, that came later. Yeah.
All right.
Night falls and the infected people come out again as the mayor continues broadcasting on the radio. Kara rushes off in a huff, gets stopped by an infected deputy. He takes her to Tommy's mother for identification, but she's not the one who was messing with the body. They want Kara to sell out her friends so they can all join the group. And they feed her an apple.
Uh-oh. There's a worm in that apple.
And that's what I was thinking, that she should not take anything that these people offer to eat or drink. Yeah. So more stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worm infection cult.
Mm-hmm.
So many worms.
Yeah.
I would have liked an explanation of how this all started, but there's a lot more mystery to it this way, which is probably fine.
Yeah, we don't know if it's terrestrial or
aliens
came from space or what.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot here that wasn't fully fleshed out, like the thing with the cell phones, which seemed to disrupt the worm somehow.
Yeah, like
they were like a group mind, and they seemed to not like cell phones.
Specific frequency from cell phones. Yeah.
Also, the worm seemed to be a sort of group mind where they each knew when the others were being attacked. Okay, there should be more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like body horror, this is a gross one, but it suffers a bit from being a little too ambitious. The story has really got a lot going on here, and it feels like it's being rushed a little bit. Would have made an excellent miniseries, though.
Yeah, I think it could have.
Was this taken from a
It was
book
taken from
or
a
something?
Short. I don't know if
It was a
there
short
a
story
book for
first? Okay.
A short video, not a short story.
Oh, okay.
There's IMDb lists it. There's a Wormtown short that has this same plot.
We have to dig that one up soon.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay. Not everything's out on YouTube. Not everything's on YouTube, believe it or
Everything
not.
should be. Yeah.
One thing that is probably not on YouTube either is 1959's Experiment in Evil, also known as The Testament of Dr. Cordelier, also known as The Doctor's Horrible Experiment.
Okay. Yeah.
Translated to English, they didn't know what to call it.
Le Testament du Docteur Cordelier.
Directed by Jean Reno. Written by Jean Reno and Robert Louis Stevenson. Oh, there's a tip-off as to what it's about. Stars Jean-Louis Barrault, Teddy Billis, and Michael Vitold. Hour 35 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. And from that poster, it looks like a man with a cane poking another man who's in a mirror. That doesn't tell us a lot.
Not a lot. Spoiler-free taste. This is an updated version of Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah. Set in the modern age of 1959 France. Dr. Cordelier and Mr. O'Pale are the duet this time around.
Alrighty.
The Frenchness, as well as the 1950s fashions and styles and technology, I thought that all contributed to the entertainment.
It's kind of all it's got going for it, really.
It's solidly made and an enjoyable watch, although the last half hour drags a bit.
I kind of thought everything dragged a little bit.
Oh, okay. Once everything is revealed and he's explaining what happened and how he became Mr. O'Pale, yeah, I thought that dragged from that point.
Jekyll and Hyde is a lot like, suffers from the same thing as Dracula, Frankenstein. We know these stories. They've been done 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you really mix it up or do something interesting with it, it's not that interesting. Of course, this was like 70 years ago, so yeah, it's maybe it was one of the original. It wasn't even. We've seen silent versions of Jekyll and Hyde.
There's older versions of it. Yeah, it's a decent version of it.
Mr. Renoir arrives in town, and they head straight to the TV studio. He gets settled in behind the desk and records the introduction to a documentary story. He tells us about the strange... It never comes back to that, does it? It's like our little wraparound thing that doesn't really wrap around.
It doesn't wrap around at the end, yeah.
He tells us about the strange Dr. Cordelier, a scientist. Mr. Joly is a notary, which I assume is like a French lawyer, who helps the doctor write up a new will. Mr. Opal is written into the will to inherit Cordelier's estate should anything happen to him. Joly watches one night as a sketchy-looking man with a cane shuffles down the street. His suit doesn't fit right, and he grabs and attacks a child. The creepy man runs and hides in Cordelier's garden and escapes. The servant lets Joly in, who tells him what happened. The servant, Desiree, explains that Mr. Opal is Cordelier's house guest, and it must have been him. Well, the next morning, Cordelier comes to see Joly about Opal and the events last night. Cordelier doesn't seem worried or surprised at the story, but he's not going to do anything about it either. Joly goes to see Dr. Severin, who doesn't like Cordelier's research. Cordelier used to be a great psychologist, but now he's just considered to be a loon. They talk about why Cordelier would want to work with a crazy man like Opal. Meanwhile, Opal goes on a daytime rampage, attacking various people around Paris and eventually beating a man to death. As the witnesses are questioned, Joly is there and recognizes Opal's cane. He knows what's going on and tells the police all about it.
So they're closing in.
And you can probably guess where it goes. And it goes right there. There's not a lot of surprises. Cordelier and Opal look nothing at all alike. They really look a lot different. Cordelier is this distinguished white-haired old guy, and Opal is much younger, sort of cavemanish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same guy. And
that impressed me. Yeah.
He didn't wear any prosthetics, according to the trivia. It was just some makeup and different postures.
And different size suit. Mr. Opal was smaller, too. And so they had identical wardrobe, that was oversized on him.
But he walks around in this baggy suit.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
This also was made for TV and got a theatrical release later on. It's decent, although kind of uninspired for the first hour, and it starts to really drag once Opal starts to tell his story. I would not recommend it.
Okay, I would. I enjoyed it overall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was never bored. Although I was surprised when we paused at one point, and I was expecting a final wrap-up, and there was still half an hour to go.
Then we got Opal's story. Yeah. Well, the main story was over until he explained himself, and there's a flashback for a half hour.
A long flashback, yeah.
Well, tune in next week when we will have more movies. Or maybe we'll just break in and do our top 10s for the last year.
Maybe.
You'll have to tune in and find out. Or, if you just can't wait, tune in Monday to HorrorGuys.com and see what's there. Every day, we post a new movie with spoilers. So, yeah. HorrorGuys.com, HorrorWeekly.com, and HorrorMonthly.com. We got all the horrors.
So many horrors.
You could pick like 1 o'clock horror, 2 o'clock horror, all that. All right, until next week, I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
We'll see you then.
See ya.